Hello, good day. This is Jason Nomadic Pagan. Welcome to week 13, the 9 virtues. Today we're going to talk about wisdom, so let's jump right into it. Hope everybody's doing well. Related to requirements number 1, 9 virtues. Required reading, Our Own Druidry, page 13. Virtues, piety, and study, and the 9 pagan virtues. Our Own Druidry, page 8186, Lore and Essay, Suggested Reading to Virtuous Life, 9 Virtue Study Guide by Reverend Michael J. Dangler. There's the URL. This is the first lesson on the 9 pagan virtues that ADF asks its dedicants to understand, and thus also the longest lesson of the 9. Note the language here. We do not require you to follow a certain set of ethics or morals. Rather, we request that you seriously examine and show an understanding of the virtues that the Clergy Council of ADF has recommended for persons dedicated to Our Own Druidry. If there are virtues that you do not agree with, then we encourage you to give reasons for that disagreement and ask questions. We explicitly do not want you to accept these virtues or any other teachings of ADF without question. ADF is not a church that follows others without question, but a religion in which people ideally share civilized discourse and ask questions of each other. The 9 virtues are wisdom, piety, vision, courage, integrity, perseverance, hospitality, moderation, and fertility. Each of these will be examined in turn, beginning with wisdom this week. But first, let us consider how we might use them in daily life. The virtues can be viewed in several ways. The first is that you can examine every decision in the light of these virtues. Over time and with practice, this will become like second nature if you work at it, and you will start to ask yourself all the time if this or that action is virtuous. Another option is to look at the virtues as a tool for examining situations. In this method, rather than making every small decision to be about piety or moderation, we can focus on a larger perspective and work through a group of decisions with a general idea of being right in your action. Finally, you can look at your whole life, or large chapters of it, and apply the virtues to decisions that affect your whole life. Of course, you can also apply it to all these things at once. There is no real correct way to use the virtues. They are simply signposts that can help guide you on your path through life. You might notice that the 9 virtues as a whole seem to be grouped together into 3s. The 9 virtues are actually a triad of 3 triads. The first triad, wisdom, piety, and vision, relates to the first function of Indo-European societies, the priestly class, as postulated by Dumzid. These virtues emphasizes things that are acquired through spiritual endeavors, thoughtfulness, and openness. These 3 virtues are the same as those we would expect of our spiritual leaders. The second triad, courage, integrity, and perseverance, corresponds to the second function of IE society, the warrior class. These virtues appear at first to emphasize the physical, but a warrior in the legends and cycles is never purely devoted to the strength of his or her arm. Often they have the innate qualities of courage, integrity, and perseverance that sees them through the toughest times. These skills are learned on the battlefield and in the play training that heroes receive in their youth, but it is off the battlefield that these skills are often honed. These particular virtues require hard work to build into your life and work, and they are well worth it. The third triad, hospitality, moderation, fertility, relates to the third function of IE society, the producing class. These are the farmers, artisans, and healers of the ancient world, and it is with them that we find certain social contracts as virtues. Hospitality, for instance, is a contract between human and deity, and that contract must be respected for society to continue through its cycles. This set of virtues is important to making and remaking the world throughout its cycles. There's a diagram of the triads. It must be stressed the categorization of these virtues into triads is not the begin all and end all of the ways they are to be applied, nor should it suggest that a priest has a set of virtues different from a warrior and different from a farmer. Instead, all people in these classes of society should have virtues from each other of these triads. What can piety be without hospitality, and integrity without wisdom? Consider different ways to think on and divide up the virtues listed here. In 3 Crane Grove ADF, we sometimes divide them all mythological, along the lines of myths that represent our name. Considering grouping like this: Enos, the god; wisdom, perseverance, moderation; Trigarnerus, the 3 cranes; wisdom, integrity, and hospitality; and Tarvos, the bull; piety, courage, and fertility. Enos represents wisdom, perseverance, and moderation because he is the one who prunes the tree, who endures that it grows straight and true. Trigarnerus, the 3 crane, are vision, integrity, and hospitality because they have a unique perspective, offer guidance, and harbor lost souls, and are not afraid to speak the truth. And Tarvos, the bull, is piety, courage, and fertility because the bull sacrifices the pious act. The bull is a direct aspect of fertility of the land and the folk, and Tarvos embodies courage. How you see the virtues is important, but more important is your critical thought about how they interact with you and with the people around you. Think hard on them and question them well. Now that you have a basic overview of the 9 virtues, we should move on to our first one, wisdom. Our homework. Our own Druidry defines wisdom as follows: good judgment, the ability to perceive people and situations correctly, deliberate about and decide on the correct response. Read through that statement until you think you understand it. In your Dedicant notebook, answer the following questions. Does a definition cover wisdom in your eyes? Is it simply good judgment, or is there more to it? If that definition doesn't quite sit right with you, head to your nearest dictionary and read a definition in that it provides. Write it down. You will need to include a dictionary definition in your final write-up. Do any of these definitions make sense? Can they encompass all that wisdom is? Now think of your own personal view of wisdom. Try to write it down in words. Feel free to steal phrases from the dictionary or the handbook if you need to. Can you come up with a definition and wisdom that makes good sense to you? Now think about people whom you would like to call wise. Examine why you think of them that way. Is it something they know, something they do, or something they have said? Is it something beyond this? Can you find words to describe it? Think about the myths and legends from different cultures. Did they have a deity for wisdom? What else was that deity a patron of? Was the deity male or female? Did he place gender values on wisdom? And does it surprise you to think of it in terms of a gender? Was there a character in a myth that showed real wisdom? How was that wisdom attained? In Irish lore, for example, the salmon of wisdom was a source of Fenimicumhead. Do you see yourself wise? There's a bunch of questions you can ask. Just ask these questions and write your paragraph you need. Here's an example. Writing process for a virtue essay. You might want to format your essays kind of like this. Number 1, put the definition from the DP handbook in your dictionary definition at the top of the page. Sum up your definition of the virtues in a sentence or 2, no more than that. Respond to the definition in the DP handbook and the dictionary. Compare it to your own definition. What are 1 or 2 key differences or similarities? State them. Explain why you differ. Provide a short 1 to 2 sentence description of an experience you have had with this virtue that illustrates your definition. Are these important links to other virtues or links to our ritual structure? Mention those links here. Okay. So that was the first virtue of wisdom. And went to my website, dedicantpath.soulstudioscreation.com. Go to virtues and wisdom. This is what I wrote, for example, for you. Dedicant path definition, write the definition of it. Wisdom is good judgment, is the ability to understand people and situations correctly. It is the ability to think about different solutions and decide on the correct response. and you put the Webster dictionary definition or whatever dictionary you're using. The ability to discern inner qualities in relationships and sight. Good sense, judgment. These don't count towards your word count, by the way. It'd be nice if it did, but wisdom. When I hear the word wisdom, I think my father. He has always given me good advice in my life, either from his past mistakes or his successes. When a person disrespected my mother in public, instead of engaging in violence, he realized the person was not right in mind and chose to step away from the situation. Wisdom to me is the ability to do what you feel is going to be the right thing to do based off past experiences in one's life through your failures and successes. Try to live day by day, growing from the lessons I have learned from the past. I have made mistakes in my life where you would say I was not wise, but those mistakes have made me what I am today. Learn from your past so you may do better today. And that's what I wrote there. The requirements for this: virtues. That was number one, right? Yeah, number one. The virtues. Must be 125 words minimum. Inaccurate does not meet criteria. If the word length is inaccurate, does not include all 9 virtues. It must understand the meaning of one or more of the 9 virtues. Adequate is going to pass you. Includes all 9 virtues and any additional virtues that the student wishes to include. So you can add some more as long as those 9 are there. Subjective combined with the objective approach. This is what it means. Dictionary definition. This is what it means to me. Alright, that was that. Let's see. How long is the required reading here? Let's see. Virtue, piety, and study, the 3 essential principles and practices define all of Druidic spirituality. It is our hope that everyone who wishes to be considered a serious Druidic pagan will devote themselves to them. Virtue is the duty of every person who wishes to live well within society. We consider the many things that the old lore has to teach about virtue and do our best to apply insights to our own lives. Piety is a duty we owe to the God and spirits, for which they bless us in turn. When we choose to learn ritual, when we make our home shrines and altars, when we keep the customs and rites of the high day, we bring piety to our work. Study is a duty we owe to ourselves, to grow by effort and strength, wisdom, and love. To be more than we are when we begin, we must absorb new ideas, new methods, and new goals. We seek these in both scholarship and the work of inspiration. For many pagans, it may well be enough to pursue these goals in whichever ways are available. Without much more formal practice, right living, attendance at right honors to one personal spirits in pursuit of spiritual growth through study and practice can make for a full pagan life. The 9 virtues. They read over the virtues again here. These might give you better understanding. Wisdom, good judgment, the ability to perceive people and situations correctly, deliberate about and decide on what the correct response. Piety, correct observance of ritual and social traditions, the maintenance of the agreements, both personal and societal, that we humans have with the God and spirits, keeping the old ways through ceremony and duty. Vision, the ability to broaden as one perspective to have a greater understanding of our place, role in the cosmos, relating to the past, present, and future. Courage, the ability to act appropriately in the face of adversity. Integrity, honor, being true to oneself and to others, involving oath-keeping, honesty, fairness, respect, and self-confidence. Perseverance, drive, the motivation to pursue goals even when that pursuit becomes difficult. Hospitality, acting as both gracious host and appreciative guest, involving beneficence, friendliness, humor, and the honoring of a gift for a gift. Moderation, cultivating one appetite so that one is neither a slave to them nor driven to ill health, mental or physical, through excess or deficiency. fertility. Bounty of mind, body, and spirit involving creativity and industrial. And appreciation to of the physical and sensual, nurturing those qualities in others. That was that. And there's one more required reading, but I think I'll let you all read that. That's long. Lore and essay, 8186. So we go 81, page 81 of the Dedicant Manual for ADF. Somewhere. There we go. So let's read over that on your own time there. Alright, y'all, that was week, 13? Yeah, week 13. So we're getting there. Hope you all enjoyed your last high day. Remember to keep reading your books so you can get that book report done so you can get through the next book. And don't forget to do your meditation. At least one a week. It's required, but if you can do more, that's great. And be sure to try out different types of meditation. Guided meditation, yoga, trance work. The list is long. Just try it out. That's what this is for, is try different things, see what works. So this is Jason, Nomadic Pagan. We'll see you next time for week 14. Bye-bye.